Wow, because then you can be fresh and sound good.
The Vocal Monitors, starring Candice Ryan and Karen Claypool. Together they bring years of tour and stage experience, while Karen, a seasoned vocal coach, has 3 studio albums with one of her projects, the Dirt Road Angels. Candice is an award-winning performer, backup singer, and all-around loud person trying to learn more about not ruining her voice. Join them while they tackle questions from social media. Maybe a guest will join them. Now here they are, the Vocal
Hello
Monitors.
and welcome. I'm Candice.
I'm Karen.
And we are your Vocal Monitors.
Yeah, welcome back.
I know, this is so exciting. This is probably one of my favorite topics. Like, we have a lot of great topics, but I think everybody's always wanting that quick fix. How do we improve instantly?
Like, what am I doing wrong in my day-to-day routine that's holding me back?
Yeah. I agree. And a lot of, like, there's obviously no quick fix. There's no such thing. No, shoes off already. That did not take
long. She just put them on, like, right before the episode.
30 seconds ago. This is ridiculous. But anyway, that's how I live my life. Don't judge me. But
Yep.
We're talking about the tension that we hold.
Yeah, I think that tension is a massive deal when it comes to singing.
How do you, like, I guess when you're preparing to sing, like, do you do any, like, specific, like, stretches to get rid of, like, tension that you hold before you go on stage and sing?
Yeah, I definitely have, lymph drainage / stretch routine that is more important to me than my warm-ups. Like, I would rather stretch and miss my warm-ups than vice versa. And when you think about it, like, your larynx or your voice box is soft tissue, right?
Yeah.
You can affect it from the outside. So if you have any tension in your neck, in your shoulders, in your jaw, in your face where your resonation's happening, right? It seriously affects your voice. So my routine, I'll show it to you.
Yes.
I start off by doing lymph drainage, and so this is going to be hard to do with one hand.
Put it back down.
Yeah, okay.
Or here.
I'll yell.
I'll hold it for you.
And some people do this with, like, beautiful little, like...
Oh, like the jade things?
Jade stones.
I have those.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I use my fingers. I have a jade stone, but I never use it. So I usually do it with lotion or something, but just taking the... I'm showing the mic.
The mic don't care.
So just taking the flat parts of your fingers, and I go forehead to my temples, because that is one drainage point.
Oh, yeah.
So your lymph can drain there. And then I go down my nose and around my mouth.
Don't rub your makeup off.
Yeah, right? And then I do my knuckles like this, and up my jaw, and then down my neck. And this isn't like a massage. It's like you're petting yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it's very gentle.
I've done that, like, more for, like, beauty routines. I never once thought that would be, because you do have liquid in your face. Like,
Yeah.
we don't really realize that. But I do that more of, like, a get rid of the puffiness routine.
Yeah,
Never
and
thought of
I
it for
just-
vocal.
I struggle with sinus issues. I had acute sinusitis for, like, years, and I have allergies, like, half the year. And so for me, getting ready to sing is just mostly clearing out my sinuses.
Blowing the nose.
Yeah, exactly. Like, opening everything up, right?
I was watching this interview with Beyonce, and someone asked, what is the most embarrassing thing that happened to you on stage?
Oh, no.
Listen to this, because this is the most real thing. Like, she's a human being like all of us. And I think when you think about, like, all your favorite singers and performers and movie stars or anything, they're just people. And they experience the gross shit like we all do. Only theirs is on stage in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
Right.
So she said she was singing, like, an emotional song. And she got pretty emotional. And as we all know, when you start triggering those emotions, they don't just come out your eyes. It comes out your nose. So she blew a giant bubble of snot. And I'm like, I've been there. Like, I love to sing those big ballads and emotions. And it's totally a thing. Like, I have to blow my nose before I go on stage. Then I fix my makeup like we just did our podcast prep. I'm like, I'll be right back. I gotta go blow my nose.
Yeah.
But we take for granted those, like, really human things that like
Oh, yeah.
before you go out on stage.
And so for me, I don't find that my nose is plugged, but I have congestion, like, you know, deeper in my sinuses. And so that lymph draining, if you were to do that every day, you know, you, like you said, for beauty purposes, you would notice, like, your nose getting slimmer and your jaw, like, your jaw getting more carved. But it does immediately help me feel, like, more open. And then after that, I definitely do neck stretches. Do you stretch your neck before you sing? Yeah.
And
what do you do?
Okay, so here's my fun one that I've been doing. And this is just like for like real normal, like just get yourself all loosey-goosey.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're going to be on stage and you're going to be like doing things, you don't want to be tight and like people will notice. But it's just like...
Do you want me to hold your mic?
Y'all. But like it's hard to do like sitting down, but like just relax and like throw your arms.
Stand up and do it.
Oh,
you'll be already headless. But...
Yeah, like...
Oh, yeah.
And you just have to, like, not care. And the more you think of, like, not caring what you're going to look like, because singing is ugly.
Just in general, like, people
Ugly
will
faces, I
relate
should
to
clarify.
you. People will relate to you if you're human and normal.
Yes.
So, yeah, definitely, like, just being able to move your body in general. Like, doing that stretch where you're just, like, wiggling your body and loosening it all up makes such a huge difference. It is crazy to me. So, like, obviously I teach vocals, and so often with my students, I tell them, hey, you should walk around. Like, just pace around the room. And it is crazy how big of a difference that can make. Like, we were saying that there's nothing that can help overnight. Well, if you get up and you sway and you move your body while you sing, and you stop going, here comes that big note, and tensing up, right? Like, that does make a massive difference.
Ooh.
Immediately.
Tip for the, you know, if you're struggling on those big notes, I always think, like, distract yourself. So, like, pretend to, like, sit down.
Yeah,
and
like,
I think
lower your body. Yeah,
and then that just, like, totally tricks your mind, and it just, like, takes you out of that, and you can totally hit those notes. I found that was, like, one of my first big, like relaxing, because I would totally struggle. Like, I love singing those big, giant songs that...
Power ballads.
Yeah, so I think it was like one Celine Dion song that I was singing. I Drove All Night.
Okay.
So that very, I know, like, all night. Yeah, so I would, like, F it up.
Right, because you got so tense.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that also changes, like, when you're at home and you're in your room by yourself practicing, you have a lot different tension in your body than when you're getting on stage and you're nervous, and then all these things that used to be easy start to feel really hard. And that's just tension.
Oh, totally.
You know?
And yeah, so like I've coached some performers as well, and that's one thing, like, trying to teach them. It's like, well, if you want to, like, move around and just, like, sway to the music because you love the music, and don't get me wrong, we all love to get into the song, but if you're gonna bop around too much and it's gonna make you off pitch, you're gonna throw your guitar player, you're gonna, you know, you might change your tempo, but just, like, focusing more on just, if you're, like, slower motions, but making sure that you are already a little bit loose to feel that.
Yeah. I do like my neck stretches as well before I sing, and that's just the simple, like, ear to shoulder. It feels so nice. Just make sure that when you do your ear to shoulder that you're not looking at your shoulder. You want to be, like, almost looking at the ceiling.
Or that good old pulling your head down too.
Yeah, and it feels so nice to do that one. So that's a big one for me too. And then this last stretch that I do, I actually was introduced to this stretch by my physiotherapist, because there was a period of time where I was gigging non-stop. It was crazy, and I was getting these, like, sharp pains through my jaw from just, like, you singing so much, which is nuts. And so I was like, hey, I want you to, like, do shoulders up on my massage today because this is hurting. And what she told me is that there's this muscle that comes down from your ear and connects under your collarbone called your sternocleidomastoid muscle.
I will never remember that.
Yeah, it's a big word, but I've said it a lot lately because I love
sharing
that
is caring,
big word.
so.
Yeah, I'm like, I am SMRT. But yeah, your sternocleidomastoid muscle is responsible for not only, like, rotating your head and moving your body, but it's also responsible for lifting up your rib cage when you breathe. So if you're a singer and you're breathing a lot, then you probably have a tight sternocleidomastoid muscle. And so she showed me how to stretch this out, and it is unbelievable how tender it is for me.
Is that the knuckle?
I'll show you. Okay, so you take your fist, and you're going to put it behind your ear. It's like you're punching the ceiling.
Oh, jaw.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you're tucking your pinky behind your ear, and then you're going to pull your hand down that muscle, but at the same time, lean your other ear to shoulder. So you should be doing it like a dynamic movement as you come down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you're like,
yeah. So I need to do that more.
Yeah, does it hurt?
Yeah, it's tender.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so that muscle specifically goes right alongside your larynx. So it can like just close in on your larynx and give your vocal folds much less room to be flexible.
That's bonkers.
So that one's crazy. She is like, do it with a hot compress than a cold compress, but I usually do it with my fist because it's what I've got with me all the time. Yeah.
I'll just warm it up under my arms.
Yeah, right? And then go put it in the snowbank.
Yeah, no kidding. When I go to rehearse and I'm at home, I definitely try to do like a slight bit of cardio, like just like walking in one place and then just like kicking my legs
like
up or
warm
doing
your body up before.
Yeah, because then it's really just gonna not only I use my little straw as I'm doing things. I'll listen to music and I'm vocally warming up and physically warming up because I find it's way easier. And then you go into like your actual rehearsal, because if you're pretending you're on stage doing a rehearsal, you can give a lot more to everything else.
It's an athletic thing, singing.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So you have to warm your body up. Yeah.
Never thought that would happen.
There are also a lot of things like habits that we can have in our singing that create tension. And that's something that we can dive into probably more thoroughly on a different episode. But if you are straining your voice, what you're doing is you're using external muscles to push your vocal folds together instead of internal ones.
Oh my God. I was like that when I first started singing, because I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I was a power singer. And now like with everything I'm doing and knowing that I'm like using the mixed voice, I can still achieve all those things, and I'm causing less strain on myself. Because you do like your night of karaokeing, and when I first started in bands, I would lose my voice right after because I'm pushing, and you're like, that's straining.
I have the best analogy to explain why straining happens, and it's just the most fun thing. Okay, so picture your windpipe, and your vocal folds are sitting at the top of your windpipe, and they come together, and they almost pinch your windpipe in order to create air pressure. So you can think of this like a garden hose, right? If you want more power to come out of this garden hose, there's two different things you can do, right? Number one, you can turn up the hose, aka engage your core and push more air up your windpipe, right? Or you can pinch the hose, and when you pinch the hose, you get more water pressure, right? And so when we bring our vocal folds together, we can decide how close we want to bring them together. We can bring them really close together and get ha, or we can bring them just a little bit together, right?
Yeah.
And so we can decide how much air pressure we're putting on our vocal folds by how much we pinch the hose. And if you're in your incredibly high pitches, your vocal folds are really long and skinny. And so try to imagine these super long and thin vocal folds coming together over a ton of air pressure. They just want to blow out, right? This is why it's hard for us to belt in our super high range, because those vocal folds are so like thin. So if you want to belt in your high range, you can either decrease the air pressure, take in less air or engage your core less, or you can engage the external muscles in your neck and squish your larynx to physically push your vocal folds together with external muscles, and that is straining.
Totally. And I've got the quick fix for that. So you want to improve instantly on that, get yourself some in-ear monitors.
Oh, yes. Or any monitor. Sing in a microphone. If you're singing at home, sing in a microphone and blast that.
Oh my gosh. The moment I got my in-ear monitors, and then you're singing into your microphone, and then you've got your band, and you can finally hear everything to your specifications, because don't ever be afraid to turn your vocals up and always ask for more if you need it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what those sound guys say.
Yeah. Even if they judge you.
Yeah. It's not about them.
Yeah.
But it makes the world of a difference. And people in the audience just don't understand how important it is for us to hear ourselves so we don't strain.
So we don't create tension.
Yes.
And so if you sing in front of a mirror and you can see the muscles in your neck popping out, then you need to find a different way to create air pressure. Either engage your core and turn up the hose, or strengthen your vocal fold muscles so that they can handle that amount of pressure, which has to happen gradually.
I have a friend who does her vocal warm-ups while on the rowing machine.
Yeah, I sing on the treadmill all the time.
Oh.
While I'm running, I just try to do it because I saw Miley Cyrus doing it in a video once, and I was like, that's probably really necessary for her because the stage is huge, but also, like, what a great exercise for breath control.
No kidding. That is an incredible thing. Yeah, especially if you got the equipment at home, utilize it.
Yeah. I'm realizing as we're talking about these things that probably somewhere around the beginning of my vocal career, there were vocal coaches and people saying, oh yeah, you have to make sure you drink enough water and stretch and like can hear yourself. And I was like, yeah. I was like, sure, I'm gonna like practice my exercises that actually do something. And I definitely agree that there are a lot of myths out there that are deceiving. Like, also I've been told to not eat dairy before I sing. And I find that to be completely untrue for me.
For you, right? I know, that's wild. I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
But I find if I have lemon in my water, and I love having some kind of citrus, but that is awful.
For singing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
so
dries
everybody's
me out.
different, right? But the tip to turn your voice up and stretch before you sing are actually good ones. Like, they're actually really going to change the game for you. I can't believe after like 15 years in the industry, this is what I'm still talking about.
Yeah.
But it's these little things.
And really, yeah. So, I mean, I have friends who have certain lozenges they have before they go on stage. I just discovered biotin.
I showed that
to
you.
Oh my God! It just changed my life!
I know. Okay, for those of you who don't know, biotin I don't know
how
idea.
to say it.
No, but it's just dry mouth spray. So this is for like, I don't know.
It's for elderly people. Like,
and
honestly.
stoners.
Yeah.
Yikes.
No, just kidding. I it's so funny. I brought it to one of our last congregation shows, and I was one of our bass players. He works in a nursing home.
Right.
And I pulled it out, and he's like, hey, that's what we give to our patients. And I was like, well, that's what I'm taking now.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And
you
you're
got
like,
the mint one?
Yeah. No.
I like the mint.
Wow, because then you can be fresh and sound good. Okay, but biotin, we went off track, but we're going to leave it in because biotin is actually the shit.
Yeah.
Get yourself some. It's hard to find, but you can find it at London Drugs or Shoppers or just Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I used it, and we were like drinking red wine through the show. And like, that is the most dehydrating thing you could possibly do to yourself. Mm-hmm. And we played for like 3 hours.
Oh yeah, it's great. Anytime that my throat is feeling like scratchy or dry, just spray some biotin in there and you're brand new. I would say the pivotal moment for me vocally, there were a lot of lessons I learned that changed the way I sing, but this specific one was a game changer for me. And I think it kind of depends on your own body, but learning how to properly open my sinuses.
Yes, I totally agree. Because I've been told, like, well, when I first started, I didn't know how to use my voice, or like that it was an instrument, or like that there was a lot of things that go along, and I was like kind of nasally.
Yeah. I think that the great thing to point out from that whole thing is that you can change your tone. Everyone is saying, like, you should learn to love your voice, don't hate on your voice, and I agree with that, but also if there's something you don't like about it, you can change your tone. For sure. If you feel like you're too nasally, you can change it. I
am a completely different singer today.
Too. Yeah.
Than I was 5 years ago, than I was 5 years ago from that. And it's like, you learn little tips from people.
Then I was like 3 months ago. Like, it feels like it changes fast. Yeah.
Yeah, you learn a tip from someone, and all of a sudden, you're constantly learning. And I think that is just the most coolest thing. So I've always had that mentality of, there's always someone better than you, and you can learn from them to become better.
There's this quote I love. It's, the person who is uncomfortable is the student. So if you are finding like your back's getting up against the wall, or you feel like, a little bit, what would the word be? Like jealous of other singers and stuff, there's probably something for you to learn. That's probably why. You're probably the student. That's probably why you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And, when you accept that and you're like, oh, there's just something to learn here, and my ego self is scared of new stuff.
Totally. What are they doing? Actually, I just read this amazing book, and I think you read. So you
I read, yeah.
The War of Art.
I've heard of this.
Oh my gosh.
Mind-blowing?
Oh my gosh. Like, I really don't read a lot of books. Like, I just,
Right.
I
Did
made
you
a
read
vow.
it or do you listen to it?
No, I bought it and I read it.
Good job.
So,
Wow.
Thank you. I know. I can
It's hard
read.
for me to sit still long enough, like, but I listen to a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah, and I just wanted, like, my goal this past month was to read more. Just to
Great goal.
get off of, like, get off social media a lot and just, like, read more. And the basis of this is everybody has resistance in their life, and it's what that resistance is your fear. And your fear will stop you from doing absolutely everything. And once you find out what that fear is inside of you, then you can combat the resistance. I highly recommend it. It will honestly just like get your, blood pumping just to want to find out. Yeah, just to stop the resistance in yourself.
One thing that I live by as a business person, because obviously, there's so many things outside my comfort zone all the time, just trying to figure out how to run a business with like no one to show you,
Right.
and you're just like doing it.
Self-employed
you're out here
life.
just doing it and being like, I hope this works. But one thing was the growth that you're looking for lies in the tasks that you're avoiding.
Absolutely. Everybody's afraid of success, and everybody's like, that's what stops so many people is because
Or
you do have to
scared to
sacrifice.
fail.
Yeah, you have to sacrifice a lot if you want to achieve your dreams and your goals, because not everybody's going to believe in you.
Yeah.
My first husband told me, I don't know why you want to be a singer that's not going to pay the bills. You better better have a full-time job. Our bills aren't going to stop.
Yeah, musicians hear that constantly. Like, get a real job.
Constantly.
Yeah. Or you will not believe how often at gigs people are like, you get off stage and like, oh, you sounded great. So like, what do you do? And I'm like,
this is what I do.
This, And they're like, oh, like, but what do you do like that for your day job? I'm like, that.
Sit on the computer and do a lot of social media.
Edit videos for social media.
I think people don't realize just how much goes into these.
It's so funny. Okay, if you're gonna be an artist, you're actually just gonna be influencer now. But it's a blessing to be able to do this full time. There are definitely people who do have to have a day job and who are still out there grinding it. And I remember when I was there, so it's a thing. It's a blessing to be at a point where we get to edit all the time.
Right? I know.
Right?
Like, oh, what kind of pictures am I gonna do today?
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that. Like, not everyone's gonna believe in you because, first of all, most people in our lives are going to be uncomfortable if we're really successful, right? So you're going to get some of that support that's not really support. I know I've had a lot of that in my life, especially growing up as a person with ADHD. And I know you have ADHD too. And this has become like so much more recognized super lately. And so there's a lot of people who are realizing they have it.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yes.
And this is weird. This ties right back into what I was saying before about opening your sinuses. So a symptom of ADHD is mouth breathing, specifically while you sleep. A lot of people with ADHD tend to breathe through their mouth. Is that true for you?
No, I don't mouth. It depends on like what position I'm sleeping in, but I do like breathe through my nose.
You do?
Yeah.
I will be like walking places, and Mitch, my husband, will be like, "Ooh, it smells good. Smell," because he knows that I'm not like breathing through my nose. He knows that I'm like
use your nose,
not
honey.
using my nose. And it sucks to say, it sucks to say, but it's super unhealthy to breathe through your mouth because your sinuses have mucus all the way down that help get the toxins and allergens out of the air before they hit your lungs. And your mouth does not have that.
No.
And so like you're getting a lot more toxins, even drying out your vocal folds more if you breathe through your mouth all the time. So that's a totally separate thing. And I used to like tape my mouth shut at night just so that if I opened my mouth, I would like wake up. Like just Scotch tape. Just so that I'd wake up and notice.
Terrifying.
Yeah, but you can buy mouth tape, but don't. It's a scam. Use Scotch tape. But it's a full thing. It's like a full thing.
Wild.
It's crazy. But anyway, if you are a person who tends to breathe through your mouth, what that means is there's tension in your mouth where your nose connects to your mouth and your sinuses are not open. And it will make you strain when you start to go up your range. Even the slightest bit, like you're barely getting into your higher notes and suddenly it feels kind of pushy, then this is you. And this is how you open them and this is how you check. So if you can make puffy cheeks, and do it with like some pressure, like you're holding, the balloon is full. And now, breathe through your nose. Let's do that a couple times. If you're watching, do it with us and see if you can find any tension. But we're gonna
and where that is, like too, because I really had to focus on that little muscle flap
Yes.
that connects and lets it go.
Yeah. Where is the muscle? In the back of your mouth where your sinuses connect to your mouth. Because your sinuses connect into your mouth. That's why you can huck a loogie, you know?
Gross.
So, yuck. So let's find that muscle. So puff up your cheeks and then exhale through your nose again and again.
Oh yeah, I do like double. Like it's like it's like contracted.
Twitched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
Yeah. So that muscle, if you were to like open your throat right now to a yawn and then exhale through your nose. Right? You're probably gonna like put your tongue up and like, try to block your mouth off, right?
Yeah.
And so if we can open that sinus muscle, your resonance is gonna be tenfold. And so you know all those mixed tone exercises where you're going nay, 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 my, all the nasally ones,
Love it.
Anything that has E or N or M is just the whole time. You're supposed to be focusing on opening that muscle. And if instead you're focusing on how do I make this sound really nasally because it's supposed to be going nay, 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 you know, what you're actually doing is blocking nay, 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 nay. The only time that you get that sinus closed froggy sound is when you plug them, not when you open them. So when you sing your mixed tone exercises, you should be trying to open your sinuses and allow resonance, not necessarily get that nasally sound.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, like, it's one of those things where, like, I know what I'm doing, but I don't know why I'm doing it. Like, I've got these great workouts, and, yeah, it's the, you know, I love the nay, nay, nays. Really, really, really help. Those are, like, one of those instant, like...
So if they're not helping you, if you're doing them and you're like, this still feels just as hard and strainy as any other vowel, then you need to open your sinuses up. And this... is going to tie into tongue tension a little bit too, because if you're lifting your tongue and blocking off the back of your mouth, then you're closing the sinuses with your tongue.
Tongue tension is something I never, ever, ever really thought about until I started watching Broadway performers doing their vocal warm-ups before shows.
Like the pencil under the tongue stuff?
No, she didn't. She just like grab like tongue like on like dried up with a napkin or whatever, and just like starts like reefing on like one side. I do
that like every day.
Like, oh, what the heck? Like, and it's just so you don't really realize just how much like that's a giant muscle. Yeah. And you think if you're gonna do it,
if you Google the tongue muscle, it actually wraps around your larynx. It like keeps going. It's like
insane. I mean, if anybody's seen like a cow tongue or like, you know,
ours are like that. They're just halfway in there.
It's so gross.
It's gross, but it also is not.
It's so cool. Like, our tongues are amazing. Like, but yeah, honestly, like grab, like pull and like stretch it out. Do like a couple on each side. Hold it out.
Yeah, you just need a napkin because if you grab your tongue with your fingers, it'll slip out. You know, but you just kind of like. And then as it's pulled out, sing through your range. And if you're singing up in your high notes and suddenly you feel your tongue trying to reef back out of your fingers, then you have tongue tension.
Totes.
And I would dare to say that 100% of the singers I've worked with have tongue tension.
I think, because who the hell's going to think to work out their tongue?
Right? And also, like, you use your tongue a lot, right? And and it becomes... the easiest way for us to plug our nose without our hands by just throwing your tongue up at the back of your mouth and blocking it off with your tongue.
God bless the tongue. Work that thing.
So stretch your tongue. All right, let's do some summarizing. Lymph drainage, stretching.
Yeah.
Moving your body.
Moving your body, getting all the tension out in our bodies.
Yeah. Opening your sinuses.
Yes.
Biotin.
Especially, if you're going on stage and you're just like, oh, my throat's just a wee bit dry. And like, we've mentioned before that drinking a ton of water before going on stage ain't going to help you. Yeah,
you need like, I think it's 6 to 8 hours before the hydration.
Yeah, the day before. Like, that's when you're like hammering down the water. Yeah.
But I don't know about you guys. Like, I have periods of time where I am a hydrated bitch. Like, I am so hydrated, I'm killing it.
Oh,
and then the other 80% of the time, I am dehydrated. Like, I really struggle to drink enough water.
Me too.
Especially, we live in Canada. We already have snow here, and it's dry out there.
It's so dry.
Yeah.
It's awful. But yeah, there's like so many great things. Write them down, make your notes, because these are things that will help you so much going into your performance.
And even the practice of paying enough attention to how your voice feels. When I do this thing, when I do that thing, when I do this thing, when I do that thing. Paying attention to how your voice feels is going to make you better at controlling your instrument.
You mean like tiredness? Like just like how it feels like?
Just everything.
Oh.
Like when you're opening that sinus muscle, like if you're just doing it or you're paying attention to like what's happening. When you sing that high note, what's happening in your body? What do you do to make that possible? So that next time that you aren't hitting it, you have an idea of what to change, right? Like if you're not aware of your body and what's happening, you know, try to visualize what's happening at the vocal fold level. What are my muscles doing in my neck? What are they doing in my shoulders? What about my mouth? What's going on in all these places? Then you can actually use those tools when you're on stage and you're like, this isn't going well. How do I fix it right now? I don't want to bring this to my vocal coach next week. I want it to be better by the next word I'm about to sing. So like, what do I change, right? You have to learn how to control these tiny, minute muscles. Then you have to pay attention to them.
Practice, practice, practice. Just be you.
And you have probably heard that since grade 5 or 2
Oh
or 1.
my!
But
if I was in grade 5, it's like, well, Candace is great to have in class, but she doesn't stop talking.
Yeah, same. I kicked her out again today. Yeah, people have been telling me to be myself, you know, forever. Obviously, I think all of us. But what I didn't realize was that you don't actually need to know what that means. You don't need to know who you are.
I just realized what it means.
Yeah,
I heard that like 15 years ago.
Trying to be like, who am I though? How do I be myself when like I am able to be all these different people and I don't really know which one is me? Like it was very confusing, but they all are you. That's the thing. Like, as long as you're being true to yourself, then everything under that umbrella counts.
Yes.
Right?
If you work over your resistance, you build over your fears of what you want to do, and just being you, and find a good circle of people, network, and just be around the environments that you want to be around. Get out to open jams, get out to all these things, just start meeting the people and
just try to be weird. Like try to be the weirdest version of yourself.
Totally.
No one's going to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself, and that is so hard to do. It's a lot of unlearning trauma to be able to do it.
Oh my gosh, that is so true.
Yeah. Some of these things, like that opening your sinuses, was something that I latched onto like 6 months ago. Like this isn't like, you know, well, we're pros and we know everything and so we're giving it to you. No, like I'm still constantly learning. I'm blessed that my job is to keep learning about these things.
Absolutely.
You know, and so if that's not your full-time job, if you have other things to do, then you can get the summary in our podcast.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah,
I think it's a great time to wrap up.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If you are thinking, man, I really wonder, you know, what these girls eat for breakfast or whatever you're wondering, then let us know in the comments and then we can make content that you want to see.
Yeah, what do you want to know more of? And we'll talk about it. We honestly have like what we want to talk about, but that train gets derailed
Immediately.
So let us know if there's something we touched on and you want to know more about it.
That is an incredible way to support us. You know, we are getting started in this, so we're happy to learn what's working and what isn't. And so we appreciate that.
You betcha.
Cool.
All right, that's it. We're out of here.
See you next time.